tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
And we're back. We're back in the saddle again. We're back. I'm sure you guys just love hearing that screeching. Yeah, sorry. All right. There's a little bit of a reading from this. Logic is great stuff. We like it. We still like it. It's not by coincidence that God gave us brains to use. I'm just over here, big book thumping. I'm a big book thumper. Yep. Did you know that I'm an investor in a movie? my 25 bucks. Oh, I don't know why I gave him 25 bucks. That was years ago. Like 3 years ago. All right. Well, what's going on here? I got to double check on that chat because it hasn't been working lately. Ain't got anybody here yet, but I'm sure we will soon. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's do this. All right. Welcome, Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Switch that to chat. This is my third time today, so I'm not really expecting even my regulars to show up. So they got lives and shit. And by lives, I mean they're living life. Happens if we mirror the camera. No, that's backwards. Hide camera, keep audio, replace, remove. Okay. So I'm going to start out in as built. You know what? I think I'm going to go the AI interview overview first. And that'll kind of tell us the difference. Okay. Logic, mind. Intuition, tummy. To tummy. At least it is for me. Right? What is an intuition? An intuition is you got a bad feeling about something. Maybe you got some spidey sense, right? And your spidey sense goes off and listen to it. I'm telling you. Listen to it. All right. Logic is a structured, rational thought process that uses reasoning and evidence to reach conclusions. Intuition, on the other hand, is a gut feeling or instinct that can lead to quick decisions about it without extensive analysis. I don't think that's entirely true. In essence, logic is about systematic thinking based on facts, while intuition is about immediate understanding or insight. Okay. Let's keep reading on this, right? So logic is systematic and rational. Logic involves a step-by-step deliberate approach to analyze and problem solving, relying on the established rules and principles. So maybe rules, maybe you're playing Uno. Can't stand people that don't know how to play Uno. People always cheat in Uno. It drives me crazy. If I'm playing something and there's a set of rules there and people break it, it irritates me because those rules are there for a reason. It's the rules are a challenge to me. Used to be rules were meant to be broken, but kind of been that's more laws than rules. Maybe I'm trying to figure out a problem. Best way to solve something. Maybe I'm putting in a new light or building some shelves or something. Your intuition's not going to be much use here, is it? Intuition comes from experience. It comes from noticing things like that, right? So it is based on facts and evidence. Not all, I'm sorry, but logic is not always based on facts. Your logic can be different because of your perception. So it is not always based on, well, it might be based on facts, but what if you're being given the wrong facts? You ever hear the line, it's too good to be true? Then it's too good to be true. Then something is up. Yes, it is. I found that throughout sales. There's always some catching point. Always. Always. Right? So based on facts and evidence, did you know that even in a court of law, visual evidence is the worst? It is the worst evidence. Right? Okay. So logical reasoning uses concrete data, observation, and information to draw conclusions. Well, observation is part of my intuition, so that kind of mixes, right? Hey, Claire, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Explicit, and conscious. Logic operates at a conscious level, requiring effort and awareness. I think they're mixing the two a little here because it's actually my awareness that leads to my intuition for me. Maybe I'm using my logic with intuition. This is why we're learning it. Sequential and linear. Logical thinking proceeds in a step-by-step manner, building upon previous conclusions. Linear. Okay, there's linear and non-linear. Linear means this is the way it's going to go. It's just how it's going to happen. Video games are either linear or non-linear. Linear means that you're going to follow a certain path and certain events are going to happen. Non-linear means you go into the game and you go anywhere and do anything that you want. You can skip right to the end if you want to. You're not going to live because you're not high enough level, but you can if you want to. That would be something non-linear. Okay. But logic comes, things like pros and cons lists would be a logical way to do it. Now, is logic bad for alcoholics? No, it's not. It's how we, like anything else, it's how we use it. Is logic intelligence? Not always. No. Right? It's about gathering the right information. Right? Seems unlogical, Captain Kirk. Requires resources. Logic requires resources. Logic thinking can be mentally demanding, require attention and working memory. Be logical. Example of logic would be math problem solving, puzzles, legal arguments, and scientific research all rely heavily on logic. Well, legal arguments, I don't know about that. I mean, again, it's kind of a perception. It's all right. Okay, let's get to intuition here. All right. So, intuition, instinctive and gut feelings. Intuition is often described as a gut feeling or an immediate understanding of something without conscious reasoning. My intuition comes from my experience, which means I do understand. Not always. Maybe somebody's telling me something new. I don't quite understand it, but the way they're saying it, my gut is telling me something, right? Now, earlier when I started this, I'm like logic, brain, intuition, tummy. It's your gut, right? Like when you were younger, and this still happens to me, if I lie about something, my tummy hurts. Hmm. And what is that? That's my intuition saying that's not the best route to go, Dion. What else is there? My ethics, my morals. Those are not in the brain. Those are intuitions. How to treat somebody. Logic is usually takes a little bit of time, where intuition is more of the immediate result, right? And intuition and logic can be used together. Okay, my intuition tells me this isn't quite right. So now I'm going to use my logic to figure out what's going on here. Now I'm going to put a little bit of more effort into it. All right. Logic can sometimes lead to your intuition. You think about it a little bit more. Oh, yeah, that doesn't quite sit right. Okay. But which one is better? Which one is better? Probably depends on the situation. For me, I usually follow my intuition. I usually follow my intuition. Right. Oh, here we go. Based on past experience and knowledge. Intuition draws up accumulated knowledge, experience, and implicit understanding. Subconscious and implicit. Intuition operates at a subconscious level, often without conscious effort or awareness. Yeah, I don't have to put any effort into knowing that that's not totally true though either. Sometimes I have to do a little bit of digging to find out, but I usually don't have to go very far with that in order to get the answer that I am seeking, right? Simultaneous and holistic. Intuitive thinking consider multiple factors simultaneously, offering a holistic perspective. I don't know if I necessarily go with holistic. Might be. Holistic means whole body. Hey, Amber. Hey, friend. You've been busy lately. I miss you. Um, yeah, so this holistic, and it requires minimal resources. Intuition can be quick and effortless, relying on the conscious processing. Examples: making a snap decision. No. Mm-mm. That intuition does not have to be a snap decision. It can lead you to other decisions, though. It's not required. I don't quite agree with that. Relying less on quick, oh, what are examples? Recognizing a pattern. Yes, that would be hey, I've been in this situation before. This is what happened. And maybe this person is not going to do it, but my intuition is going to be on the lookout for any pattern that leads to the abuse before. Okay. Now I got to be careful with my intuition and not mixing it up with my own feelings. That's where sometimes I like when it said making a snap decision. That's going to be based on how I feel about certain things. Right. And intuition does not need to be spoken, so therefore does not require a snap decision. Now it might be okay, something's right here, so I'm going to look into it more. Right? All right. Are intuitive people logical? What a silly question. Let's see what they have to say. Intuition can be an example of logical thinking. Yeah. They are compatible. Okay. Now, these are only compatible if we place what before everything? Humility. Humility is the key to making things compatible. Yeah. And humility just means that I understand that I don't know everything. In this case, my intuition might be, you know, It isn't logical thinking, so therefore I didn't know if it was entirely reliable. All right. So now we're going to get to As Bill Sees It, page 202. Clara might even remember this one. She just completely read As Bill Sees It recently. Good on you. Good on you. Because there's a lot of cool stuff in here. So 202, the hour of decision. Not all large decisions can be well made by simply listing the pros and cons of a given situation, helpful and necessary as this process is. Right? So, here's where it can get frustrating. Quitting drinking. Your logic is not going to do you any good. Well, it might do some if you do like a pros and cons list, but it's really your intuition that gets you sober. Because it's saying we can't do this anymore. Guilt. Is it guilt or does your tummy hurt because you're not being honest? Oh. Might feel guilty, but see, it's a feeling from something that you did. And that guilt is not an intuition. What that is the result of the thought of the intuition. We go through this a lot in the fourth and fifth step, where we use a lot of where we do use logic, okay? Where we use some logic in there, right? But the intuition is a feeling that, hey, my way of life doesn't, maybe my life isn't going the way that I want it to. Have you ever gotten a sudden thought, an epiphany, where something just finally made sense? Intuition. You got it. All right. I tell you now, when I have to choose between logic and intuition and I go with logic, I'm almost always wrong. See, if I start with intuition, then go to logic, I have to go back to intuition to see if I'm correct. Or maybe even take it one step further and go talk to another person about it first. Might be the best way. Sometimes my intuition is wrong. About 2% of the time, my intuition is almost always dead on. I actually like it when my intuition is incorrect. There are some things I would rather be wrong about, but the facts are just too aplenty. There comes the logic again. And what's the key? It's humility, right? And humility is all it really is not thinking less of ourselves, but thinking about ourselves less. Could be a traffic jam of instincts going on that blocked your intuition. I could see that where my brain has just given me way too many options. Yeah, I've been there where where all the thoughts are interfering with my intuition. And so what I need in my life is balance. Balance would be a good thing. I don't know why I'm exasperated today, but I am. We cannot always depend on what seems to us to be logical. All right. Here's another one. Fear, which was today's topic at 2:00, by the way. There were 5 of us, 2 people that hadn't been there before, both of them knew. We even had one of the therapists sitting in on part of the meeting. She was just interested. She didn't know about the meeting. Nobody at Community Resource knows about the meeting. I'm like, then how are we going to get people there? So yeah, we're going to do some other things. I'll reach out to our outreach guy over there today, and yeah, it doesn't need to be me. It's just I think I need to give them a little direction. I was hoping that they had their staff meeting today at 2:30. That's usually when they have it. Because I was going to go in there and say, "Can I take 2 minutes of your time? Do you guys know about the AA meeting over here?" And I know what they're all going to say. No, there's an AA meeting here once a week. The lady that I talked to, she's like, "Oh, that's great. She's ready to send her best friend to us." I had to pull out. She put her information on this, and so I'm going to send her something, and it's going to pretty much be, what'd she write it on? Let's see. Oh, a disclosure statement. I know what a disclosure statement is for this. So I'm going to write her. That way she has my information. And she had a bunch of questions about AA. See, cool stuff. Now I know why I was there. I left at 20 after because none of my friends were there, and it's just hard for me to sit there and have a good attitude. So, and I'm having some anxiety this week. All right, so where there is doubt about our logic, we wait upon God and listen for the voice of intuition. If in meditation that voice is persistent enough, we may well gain sufficient confidence to act upon that rather than upon logic. It would still be better for Dion to run it by somebody else first. It would still be better. Okay. Oh, I was bringing up another example of how we tend to put logic. Okay. We alcoholics, and it's just true for all of us, we tend to put the cart before the horse, right? So we talk about fear, and people are like, they think that they're going to get less fear when what we really get is more courage. See how that logically did not work out? Here's another logic for alcoholics. Oh, I want to drink like a normal drinker, so I'm going to stop at 3. Okay. Normal drinkers have 1 or less. How does that sound? If you're an alcoholic like me, it's going to sound frustrating. The thought of 1 drink just pisses me off. 1 drink doesn't sound good to me. 10 does. See how that my logic doesn't quite match what it needs to be. But my intuition says 0 is the best. 0 is the best. I use my intuition a lot, especially when I'm trying to figure out what to do. Well, Dion, do you want to do this? If I don't get a good feeling, then I move on to the next thing. What sounds good to Dion right now? Let's try this. Let's try that. Do I get excited about it? Oh, I'm getting a little excited. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Okay, let's go do that. And that's how I use my intuition a lot. When I see bullshit, but what is it? My intuition bullshit is the fact because I'm a bullshitter. Patterns are part logic and part intuition. I've seen this pattern before. My gut tells me it's going to go this way. See? They're compatible. If used correctly, just like everything else. If after an exercise of these 2 disciplines we are still uncertain, then maybe we should ask for further guidance. Why bother with that when you should just go straight for guidance? Why? Because sometimes they don't have time. Let's take that traffic jam Clara was talking about. Let's say I'm driving along, somebody cuts me off. I'm going to have to make an intuitive decision. I do not have time for logic. I'm going to have to swerve out of the way. Now, where am I going to get that intuition from? From past driving experience. For knowing that when you look to the right, you saw that that person didn't use their blinker going to that lane. They're probably not going to use the blinker when they go into your lane because you saw that. You saw how they were driving 2 blocks down the road, and now you don't. There are a lot of people I see. I'm like, I just don't trust that car, and I'd rather have them behind me than in front of me at the moment. Listen to it. If your intuition says stop, stop. If your intuition says get away, then get the fuck away. It is a survival skill. And we alcoholics have a very, very, very deep intuition beyond the fact that most of us are highly intelligent. We are. There's no way that you could get away with what all the shit that you got away with unless you had some level of intelligence. I'm not saying we're geniuses and stuff, but it tends to be higher than average, especially when it comes to this stuff. Absolutely, Claire. It's easier to stay sober than get sober. It definitely is easier for me to stay sober than it was for me. Yeah. Getting sober was fucking hard. Staying sober was nothing compared to that. Mm-mm. No. That's why we call it 30 days, 1,000 nights, because it takes for fucking ever. All right. Then we should ask for further guidance. When possible, defer important decisions for a time. By then, with more knowledge of our situation, logic and intuition may well agree upon the right course. Now, if we, since they are compatible and we're throwing humility in there because we're asking somebody for help, which is the key ingredient in this whole thing, what's going to happen is your logic and your intuition is going to agree. And if you have that, you have your answer. But if the decision must be now, let us not evade it through fear. Right or wrong, we can always profit from the experience. Okay. So if a decision is to be made right now, for me, I'm going to use my intuition. Okay. Because my logic just, it doesn't seem to work the right way without my intuition. But I probably would prefer a little bit of time before I actually had to make that decision. I usually prefer a little bit of time. But sometimes people give us ultimatums, and that means that a decision needs to be made right now. I've gotten better at it, but this is the way that I used to make my decisions on ultimatums. Whatever fucks with your life the most, because you just put me in a situation where you gave me an ultimatum, so I'm just going to make your life fucking hard. That is how I would make my decision. Does that sound very logical or intuition-y? No. It sounds like feelings. So, all right. I don't know that there's much more I can talk on this one. So, I was just trying to eat up a little bit of time, and I was hoping some of my friends that I hadn't seen today were going to show up, and I got what I wanted. See? It's pretty cool. You know, when I first got into the program, God said no to my wants. He was like, no, Dion, nope. Because see, I was being logical. My intuition knew that that wasn't right. Got sober, was sober for a little bit, and God started saying, not yet. Now, often he says yes, because my wants, what I want is God's will. I do. I want God's will. But there's sometimes, like here, I was like, well, I hope I get to see a couple of friends I haven't seen for, and when I say a minute, I mean maybe a day, so here we are. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see several of you in 59 minutes. Yep. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And